behind the hustle and grind. This is pride, courage, determination, and perseverance. Welcome to No Luck's Given. All right, we are live back. No Luck's Given with Chef Brother Luck, or I should call you Brother Luck now from the last episode.
Yeah, man, I'm just brother.
Brother Luck. Hey, I got my brother here in the building. I'm Dana Keith, No Luck's Given podcast, and we're back for episode 3. Just so you guys know, if you guys could give us a rating on iTunes, give us 5 stars, give us some feedback, share the podcast on whatever platform you find enjoyable, and we thank you for being here. Episode 3.
Man, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe we've actually got 2 in the bag, doing the third one.
Yeah.
You think anybody's gonna listen?
Man, people, I promise you, man, I'm gonna just speak from the experience of like the podcast that I have for myself, and people are listening, and it has an impact.
Wow.
This medium is like very advantageous for the people that's on the go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, personally, I listen to podcasts in the car when I work out and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I think we have a space, and I love that what we're doing with this No Luck's Given podcast is we're attacking this from a different angle. It's like, you know, you're Chef Brother Luck, I'm Dana Keith, but we're talking about our real lives and real everyday things. Like,
yeah.
you know, one of the topics today, man, is pain. You know, what comes to your mind when, like, that's deep, first and foremost?
I think it kind of starts with, I was in church and there was this message about a hashtag death to selfie.
Oh, my gosh.
And, man, I think we hide so much of our pain right now because we're able to create these fronts and these images and these fake realities that we can share to the world to tell everybody we're doing good.
So it's like a facade.
Yeah, man, it's a mirage.
Oh,
That's
mirage,
what it is,
yeah.
You know, it looks good from a distance.
Yeah.
Then you start getting up and realize it was never even there.
No kidding. What's up? I got a question. Just kind of lead this off. Like, what do you think is the best way? The answer I think is going to be like doing this type of stuff. But what do you think is a good medium to express your pain, like without being like depressing or anything like that? More vulnerable and open to be a learning experience.
I think it starts with trust. You know, we don't trust people, and a lot of us have been hurt. We've had people, you know, break that confidence, and if you don't trust someone, you can't be vulnerable with someone.
Right.
And what I've learned through, you know, just being a human, but also being an owner and a boss, my team has to trust me. They're not going to tell me what's going on with them.
Yeah.
If they don't trust me. You know, I had a conversation with a young lady yesterday. We're doing a performance evaluation, and we're talking about, you know, all the great things she's done. She's a, you know, model employee. Yeah. And she just breaks down.
No kidding.
Like right there at the table, and it's like her personal world is falling apart. And she's holding it together, you know. But on the inside, she's breaking, and it kind of taught me, it reinforced yesterday, like how much they trust me to be able to have that kind of conversation. Yeah. And I told her, you know, my commitment to you as an ownership group, as a boss, is to make sure that you feel encouraged, and you feel appreciated while you're here. Because I know you're not getting that in your personal life, right? With everything that you've just explained to me, but here, you know, we have the ability to change culture. So you don't have to live through that pain every day when you come to work,
right? But it's like an outlet.
Yeah, man, it should be a safe zone. Yeah,
right.
You know, you leave it at the door, and you can focus on. Because restaurants are nice. Restaurants, you're not judged on your past, your heritage, your wealth, who your parents are, your education. It's about how you show up. You know, are you respected? Yeah. Do you show up and deliver? And are people excited and looking forward to you? Yeah. Clocking in. You know, and I think that's just a real thing for me.
Yeah, it sounds like a team environment, especially in the restaurant, and a lot of people that are going through that pain, you know, outside of that work environment, use the work environment as like a kind of a paradise, if you will. Yeah. Like to escape.
Well, and you know, you have the ability just to perform. Yeah. You know,
I think what's
good, prove it.
Yeah, what's crazy about that young lady is like she probably hasn't heard that about herself. Yeah. Like forever.
And that kind of touches into, you know, I think our topic today about pain is, you know, I've shared this before, but I didn't pursue cooking at such a young age because I wanted to be a chef.
Yeah.
I pursued cooking because I had role models. I had older chefs at age 14, age 15 telling me, good job.
Right.
Brother Luck, you're amazing at this.
Oh, my goodness.
You got to keep up with this.
Yeah.
I became hungry for that attention in my workplace because I wasn't getting it at home.
Anywhere else.
All I was getting at home was pain, was fear, was anger, was depression, was death, violence, drugs.
Yeah.
You know, it was the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what pushed me so hard for so many years throughout my career.
Yeah.
Was trying to chase that recognition.
Yeah, that positive influence.
Mm-hmm.
Or that feedback, that reassurance of some sort.
Yeah. So I feel like that was the first step out of my pain.
Okay.
Was positive reinforcement from somebody I looked up to or respected and trusted.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think that's huge for somebody who would look at you with all of your accolades and success through culinary, but lo and behold, they didn't know that it started with looking for some type of positivity, some type of kudos, some type of love.
Yeah, man. So many of us have dark past, right? We got major skeletons, and a lot of that is someone taking advantage of you.
Yeah. Oh
someone pushing you to do something, you know, negative or violent or aggressive or
right.
You know, nothing's in good nature.
Sure.
And when you're forced into that mindset, that's where you start to put up those walls because you're defending yourself, and protecting yourself and surviving. Mm-hmm. So, you know, to get that positive encouragement, that positive reinforcement, the person in your life that doesn't want anything from you,
sure,
that's where you start to drop those walls.
Yeah,
you know, and it's taken me a long time to learn that about myself.
Yeah, and I feel like that specific moment, I'm still trying to figure out. Like when is you know, the best time, or I don't know if there's a best time. The best time is all the time, really, in some sense. But like to really uncover those wounds, we talked about going through your timeline and kind of looking at those moments in your timeline that have affected you and caused that pain.
Yeah, you know, I think the greatest exercise I've ever done for myself was actually go back and write down my timeline.
Uh-huh.
Right? What's the earliest thing I could remember?
Yeah.
Like that was painful.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, to continuously go year by year and be like, well, this happened and this happened.
Right.
I started to understand, you know, a lot of that's not on me.
It's not. Right.
You know, I was put in situations. I was
taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like.
I wasn't the grown up.
Right.
Which is crazy because, you know, when you come from our environment, you have to be a grown up in your mindset.
Right.
Real quick.
Instantly.
You know, like you're hardened at, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah, teen.
And you view the world completely different because, for one, it's about survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
But two, it's, nobody's going to do it for you.
100%. So,
I always think back on a lot of that before I start to proceed, or even when I'm sharing or about to give somebody a motivational speech or
sure.
directive. Like,
yeah,
I need to understand their past.
100%.
Who are they, and then I can shape my approach.
Right.
How hard do you be? How soft do you be?
Yeah.
How tactful is it?
What angle are you coming at for that?
Because it's about relatability, right? Nobody's going to listen to this podcast if they don't relate to us.
100%.
So, I think relatability has to be everything when you're sharing your story and trying to help somebody else through your pain.
Yeah, 100%. When you went through that timeline, like, how did you go through that in terms of, like, hitting the story? Like, what did you do is there any deeper layer of how you got through those pains?
Yeah, I don't know, something was just kind of calling on me. And I knew I was going through a lot of pain right then. Like, just somebody had really broken my trust, and, I was shut down. I wasn't making no new relationships because of it. And something just told me inside, like, no, that's not, you have to force this, get past that.
Yeah.
And I joined a men's group.
And I remember that.
It was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever done. My wife looked at me like I was crazy when I was like, hey, I'm gonna stick around and go chat with some of these guys and see if I can find a group to be in.
Yeah.
She was like, why?
Yeah.
And you know, I remember sitting in this this study with these guys. It was 5 of them, and they were all twice my age, easy. Sometimes some of them were 3 times my age.
Right.
And I remember thinking, like, I'm gonna hit them with so much shock value. My past is so hard compared to what they probably went through.
Right. Right.
And the deeper we got, there was no judgment, you know, but there was relatability because everything that I was going through, everything that I thought I was crazy for, right? The thoughts that I had, or, you know, the insecurities and the fears that I was feeling inside, I realized these guys were going through the same shit.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Right? I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one trying to put on this front of being this tough, masculine, hard, and
all put together person.
No, it's okay to be broken.
Right.
Because everybody else is. Some just hide it better.
100%. That's crazy because when you think of that, like, you know, you're the youngest in the room. Some people are double, even triple, but lo and behold, you guys have more in common than different.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
Yeah, I mean, it was mind blowing, you know, just to share that and, you know, kind of have that conversation with some of these people.
Yeah. So kind of, I guess what I'm going to take from that is like having somebody. I don't know if you even trusted them. How did you share that with them without even having a foundation of trust?
Because, you know, for me at that point, like, what do I got to lose? Like, I'm actually gonna share because I'm trying to scare these people away. It wasn't about, like, do I trust them? I was intentionally trying to put up a shield.
Yeah, so you went in with a different mindset and came out with a totally different.
But they embraced it. It didn't scare them.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. Like, how many of us write the end of a chapter before we even read the story? Right? We know what's gonna happen, so we don't even start the first page.
Yeah. We said that last podcast, but I think in this moment it sheds a different light. In a sense of, like, in that moment you were trying to scare them from your past or your experiences. Lo and behold, they weren't intimidated. They actually related.
Yeah. Caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And, you know, I built some, and I don't have close friendships with those gentlemen anymore. I mean, that's years and years ago at this point.
Sure.
But what it did is it forced me to put myself in a different group. It forced me to continue to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's where I started to build friendships again. Okay. That's where I started to build these relationships with other men. Yeah. That, you know, could be genuine friendships. You know, and we always talk about, like, no new friends. Right. But at the end of the day, you choose not to have any new friends. Right. You're choosing not to drop a wall. Right. And be vulnerable with somebody. And that's loneliness, man. Like, you want to talk about something that feeds pain? Loneliness. Yeah. It drives
just insanity, bro.
You know, it's like sugar to an ant. Like,
not good. That's awesome, man. So, like, just kind of fast forwarding to where you're at now, how are you dealing with your pain and things that you're going through now?
You know, it's a constant journey. Some days are better than most. I try to have more good days than I do bad. Yeah. And, you know, it starts with a lot of reflection, you know, whether it's right before I go to bed or right when I wake up in the morning. You know, how did I achieve yesterday? What did I do wrong? What did I do right? Yeah. How can I be better about that today?
And being better than yourself yesterday, measuring yourself off of who you were yesterday.
Absolutely. And, you know, we all get the same 24 hours.
Yep.
And every morning's a fresh page.
Yeah.
So start writing a new story.
Right.
You know, you make a choice.
And what helps you reset to that? Because sometimes I get like almost like a ball of yarn, almost like caught up in you know, a tangle, if you will. How do you unwind?
I think learning repeatedly. This has probably been my constant story over the last few years. I can't control everything, and I try to. Yeah. And when I try to control everything, that's when it falls apart the fastest.
Yeah.
So I have to let individuals in my life, whether it's work or personal, be involved.
Sure.
I got to communicate better. I got to delegate. I got to trust. Let somebody else fail.
Sure.
Let somebody else be successful.
Right.
You know, so I make it about other people, and it makes it easier to deal with myself.
Yeah, putting them forward or front. And ultimately, like, it's some type of a sacrifice to even think about the other person.
Yeah, and it's not being ashamed.
Yeah,
I think that's when it really gets down to selflessness, and you're not making it about you. Then it's easier to focus on other people. But like, you got to get past your own shame.
That's so hard. Yeah,
to be able to talk to somebody.
Right. Let's just take a dive back because we're going fast forward a little bit. Kind of like if you're willing to, if you're wanting to share some of your childhood or even like your past, your upbringing. Like, what was your upbringing like? What did you go through? Some type of a glimpse.
Yeah, man, I grew up through discomfort. I think that's something that stands out.
Discomfort. That's such a wild word.
Yeah, because you can be comfortable and then you're discomfortable,
right,
or uncomfortable.
Right.
I grew up in San Francisco. Never knew anything was going to be, bad. I never knew, like, I thought we lived good. We had fun.
Yeah.
Living in the city, trolleys and running at the pier and, going to amazing farmers markets and Chinatowns. And I just, childhood was cool. And then my father passed away suddenly when I was 10 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And it was quick. It was, he woke up sick, and he was a nurse in a hospital at the time. He woke up sick, and he was like throwing up blood and wasn't feeling good, but he still went to work. I remember like watching him shave and like throw up at the same time. And when he got to the hospital, he was so sick they actually admitted him
to the hospital.
To the hospital he worked at.
No kidding.
And within a week, he died. It was quick.
Wow, what happened? What was it?
I've gotten multiple stories from various family members. I don't know, and I think at this point, like, there's not much. Nothing's gonna change it.
Sure.
So what's the point of knowing?
Yeah, that's tough. I get chills in that response. For somebody who was 10 years old going through that, like, I can't even imagine the pain, the struggles, the question marks, all the questions that you have unfulfilled, and to be where you're at now, where like almost it doesn't matter because it is what it is. Like, how do you get there? What's that like for you?
I think going through the timeline after that was probably the hardest because we weren't in a situation where we were set up, and I think that's something that applies to my life every day. Is like, my responsibility is to the next generation, right? To provide education, to provide wealth, to pass things down. I have colleagues now that, they're trust funds, and that's something that, like, I didn't even know was a thing.
Yeah. But
it just makes me like, my parents didn't set me up for that.
Right.
So what are we doing right now for the next generation?
Yeah.
But we didn't have anything set up. There was no life insurance in place. There was no savings. There was no money.
Yeah. So it just left you where you were.
Yeah. So, you got to think my mom was 20, 28, 29 at the time. She got 2 boys. I'm 10, my brother's 7. And what do you do?
I don't know. That's so tough.
And that's where, as an adult, I've learned to forgive my mother for a lot of the things that I went through as a child, because I now understand and can look at it from an adult's eyes.
Yeah.
You were a child.
Yeah.
You had these 2 boys to raise.
And you were going through that trauma as well.
Yeah. And her story is way worse than my story.
No kidding.
And I understand now.
Yeah.
But for years I had anger and pain and hate.
Yeah, resentfulness.
Tons of it, man. I carried that for years. So, you're kind of lost to the streets at that point.
Uh-huh.
You find other father figures, you find other role models, you find other people to take that place.
Yeah. What'd you resort to?
For me it was the people in the streets. It was the drug dealers. It was the pimps. I loved hanging around with pimps.
Yeah, they're great characters.
Well, and just the game they drop. I mean, it's a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
All the hustlers, the con men, the people who are out robbing, like, the D-boys. Like, there was so many different elements to the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And we were always moving to a new neighborhood because, you know, we didn't have the financial situation or, you know, there was circumstances. So always moving around the Bay Area from Oakland to Concord to, you know, Pittsburgh. It was always something.
Constant movement.
Yeah, you have to learn a new neighborhood. So this
Always
neighborhood might be
adapting.
like heavy Latino, Norteño, gangbanging mentality.
Right.
And all of a sudden you hanging out with a whole bunch of bloods every day.
Yep.
Or, you know, you move to the next neighborhood and it's a bunch of brothers shooting dice in the projects.
Right.
So you're always trying to fit in and vibe. So I kind of learned this chameleon mentality where
kind of just fit in.
I can fit in wherever.
Yeah.
And I can adapt and I can evolve. And, you know, I'm going to step back and watch and pay attention to my surroundings and engage properly.
100%.
So, you know, that was something that, you know, for years was my mindset. And that was, you know, all of a sudden you're in those worlds.
You're just going through it.
Yeah. I mean, next thing you know, you're carrying those weapons.
Yeah.
You're dealing those drugs.
Right. Right.
You're around the, you know, the abuse and the sex trafficking and
100%.
you know, and it's glamorized.
Right.
Right.
It's put on a pedestal.
Yeah, well, and it's put on a pedestal because you're a product of your environment. You don't know no better.
Yeah.
You don't know there's other people who are considered successful outside of the neighborhood.
Yeah, because I used to always look up to a specific person in the neighborhood because everybody looked up to them.
They had money. They had power. They had respect.
Yeah.
Right? They had all those things. We don't know any bankers.
Right.
We don't know any real estate agents. We don't know any doctors. We don't know any politicians.
Right. Yeah.
We just know the politics of the neighborhood.
Of the street.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's your society.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the one thing that changed for me was I was actually given the opportunity to be removed from my environment. And that's where my wife, Tina, and her mother actually gave me the chance to come stay with them.
Really?
Yeah, when I was 17.
No kidding.
And Tina and I just, you know, we've been dating maybe a year. And I don't know, man, her mom saw something in me. She was like, you know, I see how crazy your situation is, and you know, I think you have tons of potential. I know you're doing the culinary thing, and you're taking it very serious. Don't blow it. You know, you can stay here anytime.
Straight up.
So, you know, the trust wasn't there. I'd say there maybe once, you know, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it turned into once a week. Then it was like 2 times a week. And then next thing I know, I'm staying there every night.
Right.
And I had all my stuff in my car.
Oh,
I had all my clothes, my cooking gear, my deodorant, like everything was in the trunk of my car.
Right.
And, you know, I would crash with them. And then I earned that scholarship, man. I earned $30,000 in college tuition to go to culinary school.
And that was your outlet. That's what changed everything.
Well, I think, you know, Tina's mom told me, she said, you know, you can live here rent free. Just don't blow that scholarship.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was already working. I was working with the Hyatt downtown in a restaurant cooking. And then I was going to, you know, I was getting ready to go to culinary school. And I just, you know, I didn't want to waste it, man. Somebody just took a chance on me. Like 30,000 chances.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And almost, you know, I can't put the words in your mouth, but it sounds like you felt some type of a duty to hold that end of that bargain with, you know, T's mother.
Well, you know, and there's other individuals in that story, of course. And one of them is actually the guy who gave me the scholarship. I still have a very close relationship with him in New York.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's 80.
That's your mentor you're speaking of, yeah?
Mr. G.
Yeah, Mr. G. And shout out Mr. G.
Shout out Mr. G, the whole CCAP program. But, you know, it's one of the reasons why I put so much effort into working with, you know, young adults.
The youth.
Is because somebody did it for me.
Yeah.
And that's my way of giving back.
It gives me such... Chef, I've known you for how long? I don't know. Probably like 3-4 years now. And I know some components of these stories. I don't know if I've ever put it all together like that. Mm-hmm. Where's T's mother at?
She's in Phoenix.
Phoenix?
Yeah. Her and T's dad are both in Phoenix. And you know, I love.
Oh, that's why y'all go down there and golf and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Go visit the fam.
I love getting down there, just getting to hang out with them. You know, because they're my family too.
Yeah, 100%.
I've been around for so long. Because I mean, you know, T and I have been together 20 years now, so it's like more than half our lives. You know, there's no new stories. There's nothing that we don't know about each other.
Right.
You know, same thing with the family. Like I've been a part of that family for a long time. So
yeah.
No, we love going down there. You know, her dad is hilarious. He he did a couple tours of Vietnam, and you know, he's like 5'4", but he's a tough son of a bitch. Like
cool
dude. He wouldn't talk to me when we first met, because I had braids.
Yeah.
Which, you know, ironically I do now.
Yeah, ethnicity showing.
But he wouldn't talk to me when I had braids. I don't know what it was, but like the day I shaved my braids off to go work at the Hyatt, all of a sudden he was like, "Hey, how are you doing?"
That's hilarious.
You know, and then I cooked for him. I remember one night I cooked. It was around New Year's that year, and I cooked like this risotto with lobster, and he was like, just blown away. He was like, "How'd you get that rice so creamy?"
Yeah.
You know, and I knew the power of food.
Yeah.
You know? So now I tell Tina's brother that I'm the son he never had. He don't like that.
You on your way in. That's awesome, man. That's a great story. Let me flash back real quick, just because I want to pick your brain real quick. Let's say from 10 to 17. Who is brother Luck from 10 to 17?
You know, 10 to 17 is a hoodie, headphones. Anger, pain, constantly trying to prove myself.
Yeah.
You know, I always felt like I didn't fit in. And, you know, being such a young child at that age of that magnitude of violence,
yeah,
you feel even more, you know, responsibility to step up and be, you know, one of the hardened ones on the block.
Sure.
And there was a transformation, man. There was a transformation in numbness. And I
That's so deep.
Anything to numb that pain.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it was how many blunts I smoked, or it was, you know, how much pain I caused.
Yeah.
I wanted that numbness.
You know,
something just to distract from the anger about the loss of my father, about, you know, the situation that we were put in, about, you know, constantly being in a new school, constantly dealing with, you know, the dramas that come with living in new neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I was looking for something to numb the pain.
That's wild, man. I can literally picture you with the hoodie and the headphones. We talked about that listening to your West Coast music, because you're a huge music fan. But is that something that helped you as well? Was music during that time period?
Yeah, man, because, you know, I think music is an escape from reality, and I think a song an artist you know, if there's anything about art, and we talk about this a lot in the kitchen, but I think art is defined by the ability to invoke emotion, right?
Yeah.
If I can get you to cry, if I can get you to feel a certain kind of way,
yeah, that song sticks forever.
I think that's what art is, right? Food has that ability, but music definitely has that ability.
100%.
And these people become, you know, family members almost.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They become the uncles and the aunts or the cousins that are giving you the advice.
Right.
So
right.
you look to those people for that advice. So when they put out new music, man, you're all over it.
Through the music, there's lessons like literally being taught as if they're, you know, someone that you look up to, like an uncle.
Yeah. And when you look at a lot of for me, like my environment was obviously, you know, growing up in the Bay Area, but the people that I was listening to, you know, the E40s, the Selly Cells, the Too Short, the Mac Dre's, like growing up in that era and listening to those people, a lot of their lyrics and music was around game, dropping game, giving you knowledge, right? Sharing that knowledge and that experience of what they went through, to give you a better situation. So I was actually listening to something the other day. I don't know if we talked about this on the last one, but this dude said, you know, it's not about what you survived anymore, right? Our generation lives on that. Like, you know, we survived and we made it through.
Right.
it's not about that no more. Our new generation, the one we need right now, is what are you building for the next generation?
Right. I think we touched on it, but it's good right now. It adds value.
I think that's something that definitely needs to be there in everyone's mindset. It's no longer about surviving.
It's our responsibility to lay that foundation for the future generation.
But that's what a lot of artists gave me as a child, as an adolescent, was knowledge.
Yeah.
Of how to make it out. Reading books like Donald Goines or Iceberg Slim gave me so much knowledge about the streets. And that's what helped shape my mindset and kind of protected me to survive and get through what I got through. But also, is applied still every day of my life.
Sure.
My past is always going to be a part of who I am, but it's not who I have to be.
That's so important. Say that again.
My past is always going to be a part of who I am, but it's not who I have to be.
It's not who I have to be. Yeah. Oh my God.
But it doesn't mean you can't use the knowledge from that experience.
Right. The wisdom or the game that you did get through from the pain.
Yeah.
It could elevate who you are today, but it doesn't have to be the same person. It's the evolved or the evolution of you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's powerful, man. Super powerful. Talk to me about now, like, I know we discuss it a lot in regards to, like, what drives you, what motivates you, and how are you using your pain? Talk to us about that. How are you using your pain, like, now to help you, and maybe those lessons that you did learn? How are you implementing those today?
I used pain as fuel for years, and I think when you use pain to motivate you to get through a hard time, to get through a tough scenario, to overcome an obstacle, it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
Right? You're drained emotionally. You're drained physically. Like, you go into a funk really, really easy afterwards.
Because you're tapping into that numbness.
Yeah.
If you will. And you're tapping into that numbness.
That barrier is rough when you try to come back to the world. Right? Because you get into this state of blind fury, and then you get through it and you realize, man, I just unlocked that door again.
Yeah.
So
it's
for
tough
me,
to close that bitch again.
I'm tired of using that motivation. Right? I'm too grown to use that motivation. Like, once you acknowledge it, you can't use it as an excuse no more.
Sure.
You knew about it.
Right.
So, for me, I've really been trying to discover joy as motivation, right? And it's about helping people.
Yeah.
I get joy out of seeing someone else overcome.
Yeah.
I get joy out of seeing someone else succeed.
Yeah.
Or find confidence, and it's no longer about me, right? I'm borderline self-destructive, because I'm getting so much joy off of working with other people. And it's not something, I try to, put out there or glorify, but, like, that's been my, my reference point for a while now.
Yeah. That's what you're pulling from for inspiration or motivation.
Yeah, man, it's powerful. It's way more powerful than pain.
Yeah. I find that interesting, really, because a lot of the things that I read or listen to, like, they will tell you to tap into your pain and pull those. And honestly, if I'm just being transparent here, like pain helps me a lot. Like,
but now let me flip this on you as someone who is, a father to a newborn.
Right.
The motivation of having a new child is joy.
100%.
But it also is something that is fueling you to achieve. It's no longer pain. It's the joy of your child.
100%.
Because you want to provide for that child, right? You're focused on the next generation.
100%.
That I think that's something that's way more powerful than tapping into the pain of your past. Because when you come out of that situation, when you overcome that challenge and you use that motivation, that fuel,
the joy,
you're not going to have that funk on the back end.
Right. That is powerful. The funk that you're describing.
You can't fight that funk.
Door that you open up when you actually tap into that pain.
I don't care what George Clinton said. You can't fight that funk.
You can't fight that funk.
When it comes, man, it comes. And it's horrible because it's just, you don't want to talk to anybody. You want to shut down. You want to hide. You want to, I want to get in the couch, and I just want to be disconnected.
100%.
And that shit's gonna take a couple days to come out of.
Yeah.
And there's no way to speed it up.
I definitely, especially when you flipped it on me with my son, it's like I can see how like pulling from there can be very advantageous and versus the opposite.
Yeah. Because you're gonna put that wall up around your son or around your spouse or around your coworkers. That wall, when that funk comes and you still have to do your responsibilities.
Yeah.
That's who's gonna catch the
negative, the backlash or whatever. The
stuff you dealing with, you're gonna wear it on your sleeve.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to them because we push on them because we love them the most and they love us the most. So we feel like they're not going anywhere.
Right.
So we push on them.
It reminds me of like, it's some type of a management tactic. They say like a carrot or the stick. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
So like it feels like to me like the negative is the stick and the carrot's the positive. And honestly, if like I said, if I could reflect, I react to the stick more than the carrot right now.
Yeah.
Now, when you just told me about my son, I think I could find some value out of the damn carrot.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. And that's just finding different ways to motivate. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about management is it's constant. It's constant. It doesn't stop. It doesn't get stagnant. Like everyone has different personalities. So you have to really get to know them as individuals before you can even begin to try to manage them or motivate them.
Right.
Like you don't know what motivates them. It's not an extra 50 cents.
Sure.
It's actually the compliment.
Yeah, that telling them, hey, what you just we talked about earlier is telling them how good they are doing. That compliment.
It's huge.
Positive reinforcement.
I've been a manager since I was 19, and I've always had a very large team. So I've always been in charge. And, I think as a young manager, especially being, 19, 20 years old, you're trying to find ways to motivate and lead these people who are 2x, 3 times your age.
Right.
You can't do it all through fear.
They
don't respect you. You're a kid. Don't talk to me like that.
Yeah. So
I had to find ways at a very young age on how to motivate people differently. And a lot of that I found was through getting to know who they were. Mm-hmm. So, like, there was this one cook who was constantly fighting with his girl about how many hours he worked. And, you could just tell, like, he would come in this funk. So, I look at as his manager, I look at the schedule, I look at the volume of the business, and I'm like, okay, I think I could actually work today without him.
Yeah.
So on my way in, I stopped. I bought 2 movie tickets.
When
he came in, I said, hey, man, I'm going to cover your station today. I know you've been dealing with, some problems. Here's 2 movie tickets. Take your girl.
No kidding.
Go enjoy a movie. Go enjoy a night. I got your station tonight. Like, I had so much respect and loyalty from that person for the next 2 years that he worked with me because I took the time to understand who he was
his
or what he was going through.
What he's going through.
To figure out my approach.
To what could benefit and help him.
Mm-hmm.
Guy, I don't even know, like, obviously that person could speak for themselves, but I don't even know how much value that person got out of, $20 or whatever that looked like for the tickets.
Not even.
It was priceless in comparison to that damn $20.
Yeah.
You got loyalty for another 2 years from this man.
Yeah. And I think that's what I've really tried to build a lot of my career on is, staying engaged with people, but I think it's more than just my career now. Like, I understand that I put so much effort into my work, I totally forgot about my life. So now I'm starting to understand that, it's not work-life balance. It's just balance.
Period.
Why would you stop and separate the two? Like, you need to find balance in everything. You choose your schedule most of the time.
Right.
You choose how many hours you work. You choose how productive you are.
What you're doing,
right? You make choices.
Right.
So it's about finding balance in all of that. And, it's always a challenge. But, like, even now, we live in a day of technology where we have the opportunity to FaceTime and do online meetings and video chats. Like, you don't need to be there in person most of the time. Sometimes we overestimate our presence.
Yeah. When
in reality, people just need you to leave them alone for a minute and let them perform.
Yeah. I actually, this is something that's recent for me personally because I don't really FaceTime that much. But my buddy got an iPhone back in North Carolina, and like I kid you not, like we've been fucking FaceTiming at night and just chilling while I'm working, editing or whatever, chopping with the website, whatever it looks like. We're just chopping it back and forth, and that hour-long FaceTime, I kid you not, like we have not talked like that in years, like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? But it's very valuable for our relationship, moving forward, and we keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, technology, man, that is something to take advantage of. And what I get out of this conversation with you, at least the biggest thing that I can pull out of, is just your approach. Like you're taking a different approach, especially like the example with the young gentleman. Like I don't know if I've ever heard of something like that, like where somebody literally was invested into that person's life enough to know how to take the right angle. And we talked about that, taking the right angle of, like you said, a speech. You got to figure out who you're speaking to then correlate your message.
Yeah, I mean, even today, like I have a speaking engagement today this afternoon for a group of hospitality professionals, and it's literally the one thing that I'm going into this conversation with is, a lot of it is going to be about personalization. Yeah, because I think we keep talking about, there's labor shortage. There's labor shortage. I don't think that there's a labor shortage. People didn't just get wiped off the earth.
Right.
I think that there's a shortage of good leaders. I don't want to work for somebody who's going to treat me like crap.
It's true. It's true.
Because it's not about the dollars.
100%.
Like most of the time, it's not about the money.
Right.
I want to be in a place I enjoy.
Yeah.
I want to be in a place where I feel appreciated.
Yeah.
And, a lot of my conversation today is going to be geared around like being invested in your people and being a great leader and making your people great leaders.
Yeah.
And that's what retains employees.
Yeah.
That's what attracts employees.
There's like I don't know if it's a statistic or a saying or what it is, but it comes to my mind that people want to feel like the work they're doing is for a bigger purpose. Like that keeps them, or like as far as for like a retainer of some sort, like that keeps them at your job longer.
Yeah.
Versus like pay, like you said. 50 cents doesn't, change. Obviously 50 cents is 50 cents at any day, but the bigger value that they get out of it is to, be doing something worthy, for a bigger cause. So if the leader can get to that position to where they leverage that, then they could probably find a better result. That's cool that you're taking that approach too, because you're right, man. There's definitely a lot of people in Colorado Springs. There's not no shortage of it for sure.
No, there's people everywhere, but it's I think being an owner versus being an employee has given me that insight or that opportunity to be creative in my approach.
Yeah,
there's nobody telling me I can't, and I fail every day.
Yeah.
I do things that make no sense or things that bite me in the ass. But at the end of the day, like you got to learn from that. You got to reflect on that and not make that same mistake twice.
100%.
And really try to make good decisions and see everything as opportunities.
Is there anything that you went through personally? Obviously, you've been a boss for quite some time, but anything that helped you get to that point in your leadership?
I've always viewed myself as great. Like, I feel that way about myself.
That's awesome.
And I think when I reflect on that, I've only ever applied that to just my work life. I never applied that to my personal life. I never viewed my personal life as great. Right? So in my work life, having that confidence in myself and knowing that nobody has more time than the next person, and there's always going to be somebody better than you at what you're doing.
Right.
It pushed me to just focus on my skill set, because if you can deliver, nobody's got anything negative to say about that.
Right.
If I'm executing at a high level and you're not, that's on you.
Yeah.
So I think I always became a natural leader because I was always trying to get better. Right? There's no such thing as perfection, and in the chef world, we talk about that a lot. It's about chasing the perfection. So if you know it's about the chase, you can really start to hone in on your skills because you're never going to be perfect.
Right, right, right.
That gave me the opportunity to step into roles where, you know, I was put in positions that I needed to be a leader. So, you know, I looked at that as the next skill set that I needed to learn. It wasn't just cooking anymore.
Sure.
I needed to read books on management techniques. I needed to understand, you know, society.
Yeah.
I needed to have conversation points, you know, something that a lot of young managers don't realize. If you know your demographic of your coworkers are twice your age and you're going to the bar with them that night,
yeah,
make sure you have some topics that you can talk about that apply to the majority of the people at the table.
Right.
Right? You might not listen to Elton John.
Sure.
Or Billy Joel.
Right.
But you should probably have some songs that you're ready to talk about.
Yeah.
So you have conversation topics at the table. You're not just viewed as the young one.
Right, right, right.
I always went into those conversations and those scenarios with that mindset. I don't care if we were talking about financials. I don't care if we're talking about society, politics. Like, I needed to be able to carry myself.
Sure.
So knowledge became my constant source of motivation. I always could get the information.
Yeah.
And then as technology has progressed for us, it's even easier.
Yeah.
I can hold weight with any conversation now. There's a phone in my pocket.
Right. You literally look it up real quick. And
you didn't have that 20 years ago. You had, you know, a green screen with Snake on it. Like,
yeah. That was a great game, by the way. But no, I think that it's you know, speaks volume to, you know, where we're trying to get to, which is, you know, showing people about, you know, the no luck's given principles, being perseverance, determination, pride and courage. And it speaks to like your journey. And I think that it kind of reverts back to the pain and how you're going about it is you're reverting more to the joy and using the pain for the lessons that you've learned to be, you know, implemented with who you are today versus, you know, allowing that pain to, you know, transcend through your whole life, man.
Yeah, man. My pain is always going to be there. But I truly believe in what Eric Thomas said is it's temporary.
Yeah.
Right? It may last a minute. It may last a moment. It may last a year.
Right.
But eventually it'll subside.
Right.
So once you acknowledge your pain, then you can start to heal.
Yeah.
And in that process, you know, it's why we have scars, reminders of the pain.
Yeah.
Lessons, you know, that's experience. But I can't continue to use that as my motivation because it's not good for my overall balance.
Right, your well-being.
Right? I have to have balance in my life. I need to make time for the small things. I need to make time for the great things, you know, and I need to stop chasing what I don't have and start appreciating more of what I do have.
Right.
Because tomorrow's not promised, you know. I keep going to these funerals, man, and it's painful.
Yeah.
You know, because people are dying with money.
Yeah.
They didn't get a chance to spend it.
Right.
Or they never had it. All they did was chase it.
Yeah, that's even bigger.
You know, I want people in my world that actually care about me. I want people that are genuine and real. And if you know, you don't have the right intentions or, you know, you come across with the wrong mindset, then I'm probably just not gonna fuck with you. Like,
yeah,
you know, no sweat off me. I'm gonna keep doing me. I'm always gonna be me. And, you know, I've got people in my life that are priorities.
Right.
And I want to keep them as priorities.
Yeah. What's this is just something for me personally, like obviously for you, and this is just kind of reflecting on what you just said, like you know, the pain is what you've been through. It's always going to be a part of you, but it's not what you're focusing on. So my question to you is more specifically, what is something that, like, for me, when I go on a run or when I'm working out or even when I'm going through tough times, Like the pain just pulls me, like it literally is more powerful, if you will. Mm-hmm. What is something that is helping you on the lighter side? Like, is it spiritual? Is it, that mental, space of where you're in? Like, what is it that's helping you to stay on the light versus the dark?
Yeah. The memories.
Yeah.
I'm not going back. Period.
Yeah.
I will never live like that. I will never think like that. I will never take advantage of people like that. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So for me, that's probably the biggest motivator of what keeps me straight. I've seen so many people get lost. I've seen so many people, fall off. I know how quick it can be snatched away.
Yeah.
And, while I have the platform, while I have the opportunity, while I have the position, make the most of it and make other people successful, because when you're down on your luck, you're going to want somebody to take a chance on you.
Right.
So I hope I build enough people out there that if I fall off, man, they
got your back.
They got my back. But, I think that's the first part, man, because we don't know, these viruses and diseases come so quick.
Yeah.
And they snatch people.
Right.
And it's horrible.
It's crazy.
Here today, gone tomorrow. People dying in 10 months, like,
yeah,
or freak accidents.
Right.
Or
we just had the Kobe incident. Like,
it's crazy.
Accidents just, and life goes that fast.
Like,
that's wild.
Your memory
I get
now.
Chills, bro.
So what's the impact that you're making, and how do you want to be remembered?
Right.
God,
this I'm just gonna reiterate what I just took from that. So the painful memories is what motivates you to never go back, but it's also the memories that you're creating that will live on forever is what is also motivating you at the same time.
Absolutely, man.
Like the legacy.
Yeah, and for me, it's not about children. It's about how much impact can I make on somebody else's life. I just want people to think differently. Somebody made me think differently.
Right.
Right. To not settle.
Yeah.
To not accept. Like, just because you're here now doesn't mean you have to stay here.
Right.
Just because you've never been to Europe doesn't mean you won't see Europe.
Right.
Make the changes. Figure out what that looks like. Find that joy. You talked about earlier about going on a run, and like the pain of what you're feeling is what keeps you pushing forward.
Right.
Imagine if you had somebody on that run that you were helping lose weight.
Oh my gosh.
How much that person would push you to keep going.
Go further.
So I think that's something that outweighs the pain, is the joy that you're experiencing helping that person lose that weight.
Right. That's incredible. That's the dope one. I like that. Lesson learned, man. Those are the gems that I'm glad y'all are here to take away, because he just flipped that on me again. Like, using that moment as inspiration for someone else, like that could be the joy that pushes you way further than your own pain.
Yeah, but unless you master your past, you'll always be a slave.
Ugh. That one hit me deep. Brother.
Yo, I take notes when I hear them.
Yo, that was hard.
I feel that, man. I wrote it down for a reason.
That is hard.
I don't even remember where I heard that, but it was something as I was going through my notes for this week I was looking at, and I really feel like that's something that if y'all didn't hear it, man, unless you master your past, you will always be a slave.
Always be a slave. And I think I referenced it before on a previous podcast, but you've told me before that if you haven't dealt with the pain, then you could never inspire somebody through it. Yeah. Like you got to go through that first, and I feel like I'm still a slave.
My buddy had an album, and on the cover, man, it said, what did it say? If it's never been in a pawn shop, it's never played the blues. I still remember that quote, man. I love that. That was dope.
Man, what can we give the people this week? What is something to take away? What is something for them to think about, to move forward, to use their pain as, bring it to joy, or to motivate them to, leave a legacy, or even the memories that, maybe they have to inspire them to create better memories for, who are around them or the future generation.
Yeah, man. The first step, at least for me, you got to look in the mirror, right? It starts there. It starts with you.
Yeah.
And what are you using for that motivation? But like at the beginning of it, realize, and tell yourself this: I'm not a mistake.
Yeah. I'm not a mistake.
Damn.
God, I needed to hear that.
That is something that a lot of us struggle with.
Yeah.
Right? So now, once you understand that you're not a mistake,
yeah,
what are you here to bring? You got a purpose. What is
bro.
that purpose?
Yeah.
And that's where it has to start, man. My purpose is to help other people.
Yeah.
And I don't care how much I struggle.
Yeah.
Or I stress out or I deal with the fear, I'll take that on for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people need more of in this world.
Yeah, you'll carry that weight, kind of like what you just told me. Like you'll run to motivate them to lose weight.
Yeah, man, I'm 3 times your size. I'll carry that for you.
Yeah. That's real as hell, brother. That's real as hell. Man, what else can we give these people, man? We giving them gems. 3 episodes in and you don't think people gonna listen to this?
Man, I'm here for the ride.
Man, if y'all listening right now, I need y'all to DM or not DM, what's it called? Mention, do a tweet or what the hell is it called? Tag Brother Luck in a post today. And I want you to kind of reflect on what you took away from this podcast. I want y'all to let Brother Luck know that y'all listening, all right?
Yeah, man, share that positivity, and I'll share it on my Instagram stories. When they come at me, I'll make sure to repost them and give you that love.
We are reposting the love because we want to inspire the next generation, whether it's you, the people you're affecting. It's a ripple effect through, what we're trying to do here. No luck's given, man.
Yeah, man. I run all my social media. I've taken that off of other people, and just it's something that I do because I feel like I'm not a celebrity.
Sure.
Right? I'm a person.
Yeah.
And you have to be accessible. And I think when people give you that response back, it shows respect.
Yeah.
If you hit me up, I'm probably going to respond back to you and, just don't be inappropriate. I don't want to see none of them nasty pictures.
You be getting them things? Hey, y'all mugs better at me then with those. Like, just kidding.
No, man, I'm telling you, when we did Top Chef the first season and, the roommates created the bear persona.
Yeah.
I had some big burly bear men out there who were fans.
Oh, they was trying to show you how much of a burly man they were. Oh man, y'all better keep that to yourself. Y'all better not at me with none of that mess.
So if you got some good bear photos, hit up at Data Keith. The hairier, the better.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so mad when I repost that shit. I'm gonna laugh though, man. Y'all better not do that to me. Oh my goodness, no luck's given, bro. Man, I couldn't thank you enough, man. This has been an incredible episode. I shared with Brother Luck this personally, but these episodes are like instrumental to, me personally. Like, I'm in the damn episodes and I get so much value. Like when he's sitting there saying, and I would say this like as if you're not here, but like when Chef is sitting there saying like he wants to change or make an impact, like I'm sitting across the table and what he's saying is very impactful to me, my life and my mind, man. It helps me get through what I'm going through. Yeah. Like it's instrumental to my days.
Yeah, man, you gotta find that hope wherever you can find it. For me, a lot of it has just been, my Bible studies and finding my spirituality again.
Yeah.
And I think we end on this, man. I was reading one of my favorite quotes just now. One of my favorite passages, Romans 5. And it says, check this out. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character hope.
Wow. Your pain has a purpose.
You got to go through the pain to see the rainbow, man. You got to go through the storm. You got to see the storm.
There's so many lessons in life that I just got chills from when you read that passage and when you said that. You can't get the rainbow without the storm.
No, man. You got to go through it.
That's powerful. Brother Luck, Dana Keith, No looks given, y'all. I appreciate the hell out of you.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. See you next episode, man. And all y'all, make sure y'all give us some love. Share the podcast. Give us some stars. And, man, once again, thank you.
Yeah.
That was an incredible ending.
Yeah, man. Hit us up on our social media. I'm at Chef Brother Luck on all platforms.
Official Danny Keith on IG, and you could just find me Danny Keith everywhere else.
That's where you send the bear photos.
I can't deal with y'all. All right, y'all. We out. Peace. The man behind the hustle and grind. This is pride, courage, determination, and perseverance. Welcome to No Looks Given.